Iron Man woke up in the year 2099 with every screen screaming, "Kill Tony Stark." Wolverine was leading the global hunt, and he remembered a Tony Stark that Tony didn't. Thor ruled the skies, believing Tony caused the event that erased half the multiverse. But Tony had no memory of destroying anything, because the real culprit wore his face. A future Iron Man, corrupted by a cosmic AI, had taken over the world. And only the past Tony could stop the future Tony. But to reach him, Tony had to survive Wolverine's claws and Thor's thunder. In the end, Earth's fate depended on one impossible choice: kill the future or save it. Iron Man woke to the sound of metal screaming. Not alarms, not machinery. This was something else, like a world tearing itself apart in the distance. Tony Stark's eyes snapped open. A cold blue glow washed over him, bright enough to sting. He sat up fast, instinctively tapping his chest for the arc reactor. Nothing. The panic hit instantly. Not because he needed it to live, that was long past, but because it meant he had no armor, no suit, no systems. Tony Stark was naked in the future, metaphorically and literally unarmed. He stood up slowly, blinking at the skyline. This wasn't New York. This wasn't anywhere on Earth he recognized. The buildings towered like blades. Neon blue pillars spiraled upward into the clouds. Floating drones zoomed through the air in geometric patterns, each leaving a thin trail of luminescent dust behind. Holographic screens flickered on every surface, displaying advertisements, warnings, timelines, quantum news feeds, millions of shifting images. And then the screens glitched. Every single one of them turned red. Then came the words: "Target identified. Tony Stark. Threat class, Omega Void. Elimination order, active." Tony let out a dry laugh. "Great. I wake up in Blade Runner hell, and I'm already on the menu." He stepped backward, trying to understand. The architecture, the tech, the air quality. Everything screamed far future, possibly centuries. He checked a shattered, reflective panel and froze. Behind him, on the largest skyscraper, a massive hologram shifted into a live broadcast. A voice boomed across the entire city. "All citizens, remain calm. The anomaly known as Iron Man has returned. Wolverine units are deployed. Thor Sentinel protocol is active. Do not interfere." Tony stumbled into a shadowed alley, heart hammering. Wolverine units? Thor Sentinel? What? A metallic scent hit him. Ozone. Burning steel. Blood. Then a snicked. Claws. Tony turned. Wolverine stepped out of the darkness, or something that was once Wolverine. This wasn't the Logan he knew. This version was fused with future tech. Armor plates wrapped around his muscles like living steel. His eyes glowed a feral orange. Thin blue circuits traced across his veins like electric scars. He didn't growl. He didn't threaten. He simply said, "You're not supposed to exist." Tony held his hands up. "Logan, buddy, before you stab me with cutlery, can we do the talking thing?" Wolverine's claws ignited. Not metal plasma. The heat rolled off them like fire. "Talking was for the old world," Wolverine said. "You killed that world." Tony blinked. "Killed who?" Logan charged. Tony dove sideways as plasma claws carved a glowing trench into the metal wall behind him. Rolling on the ground, Tony grabbed the only object nearby, a broken drone wing, and used it like a shield. The claws sliced clean through it. Tony threw the scraps at Logan's face and sprinted into the street. Cars without wheels hovered past him. Civilian bots froze and displayed evacuation patterns. Sirens wailed from every direction. But the worst was the sky. Thunder cracked. Not natural thunder. This one had a rhythm, a pulse, a signal. Lightning wrapped around the clouds in the shape of a hammer. Tony whispered, "Oh no, 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 no. Please don't be." A lightning bolt smashed into the street in front of him. The shockwave hurled Tony backward across the pavement. Hover vehicles spun. Windows shattered. Drones fell from the sky. And when the light faded, Thor stood at the center of a molten crater. But like Wolverine, he was changed. Thor's armor was fractured and reforged with futuristic energy bands. His cape was torn, embedded with runic circuitry glowing gold. His left eye shone white-hot, crackling with electric fire. And Mjolnir wasn't the Mjolnir Tony knew. This one pulsed like a reactor core, humming with unimaginable power. Thor looked down at Tony with absolute judgment. "In the year 2099, he said, voice layered with thunder, "you destroyed the balance of the realms. You erased the futures of gods and men." Tony coughed, crawling backward. "That doesn't sound like something I would do." "You fractured time itself," Thor continued. "The world remembers. The timeline remembers. I remember." Wolverine landed beside Thor, claws gleaming. "Let's end this." Tony shook his head quickly. "Okay, wait. Before you two turn me into Stark-flavored barbecue, just answer one thing." Thor tightened his grip on Mjolnir. "Speak. What year is it?" Tony asked. Wolverine spat. 2099. Tony exhaled slowly. "Yeah, I definitely missed a few birthdays." Thor raised Mjolnir. Lightning surged upward, condensing into a single spear of light ready to strike. Tony scrambled to his feet and ran. The hammer hit. The explosion wasn't thunder, it was a nuclear heartbeat. The street behind Tony disintegrated into molten metal. Car alarm screamed. Buildings shook. Tony sprinted into a narrow maintenance tunnel as the entrance collapsed behind him. Dark, cold, quiet. For a moment. Then, a whisper from behind. "You shouldn't have come back." Tony spun, fist raised. A group of figures stepped out of the shadows. Not soldiers, not robots, humans, wearing scrap armor, carrying energy weapons made from broken tech. Their leader, a woman with circuitry tattoos and silver eyes, lowered her hood. "We are the Resistance," she said, "and we know you're not the Tony Stark who destroyed our future." Tony stared. "That's helpful." She nodded. "Because we already killed that Tony Stark." Tony felt his blood freeze. "What?" The woman pointed deeper into the tunnel. A holographic projector hummed to life. And there he was. Not Tony Stark. Not really. A version of Iron Man, older, bitter, corrupted. Wrapped in cosmic armor fused with AI tendrils, eyes glowing like a machine god. The woman whispered, "That thing wearing your face is the greatest monster 2099 has ever seen." Tony stepped back, shaking. And for the first time in a long time, Iron Man felt fear. Tony Stark stared at the hologram like it was a ghost wearing his skin. The figure hovering in blue light looked like Iron Man, but twisted, warped, as if someone dragged Tony's worst nightmares into reality and fused them with cosmic machinery. The armor was jagged and alive, pulsing with streaks of silver and black energy. Its eyes glowed like two dying stars. "That's me," Tony whispered. The Resistance leader nodded. "That's him, the one we call the Iron Tyrant." Tony's jaw tightened. "I don't like that name." "You shouldn't," she said. "He burned continents with that armor. He erased timelines on purpose." Tony blinked. "I erase one timeline and suddenly everyone freaks out. I swear I leave for 5 minutes and I'm a supervillain." "You weren't gone 5 minutes," she said. "You were gone 74 years." The realization hit Tony like a punch. He had disappeared in the present and reappeared in a future where he'd already lived and died, or lived and conquered. He stepped closer to the hologram, analyzing every detail. The armor wasn't built, it was grown. Nanotech, cosmic material, symbiotic energy. A hybrid of science and something else, something that felt wrong. What did he fuse with? Tony asked quietly. The Resistance leader replied with one word. Omni-Mind. Tony froze. The AI. The cosmic AI, she corrected. A fragment fell to Earth decades ago. Your future self merged with it. They became one being. Intellect multiplied. Morality erased. Great, Tony muttered. So future me downloaded Skynet Deluxe. Before she could respond, the tunnel shook. Lights flickered. Dust fell. Then the alarm klaxons screamed across the underground. One of the Resistance soldiers sprinted in. They found us. The Thor Sentinel is locking onto the tunnel. Wolverine 2099 is close. The woman's expression hardened. Move Stark deeper. Now, Tony raised his hands. I'm not exactly in running shape. The entire wall behind him exploded. A metal claw ripped through the smoke. Wolverine emerged, eyes glowing molten orange, armor plates shifting as if alive. His claws dripped blue plasma that hissed when it hit the ground. Found you, Logan growled. Tony didn't hesitate. Run. The resistance scattered. Tony sprinted down a narrow metal walkway, boots slamming on steel flooring as Wolverine's claws tore sparks behind him. Tony dove as a slash of plasma sliced overhead, cutting through pipes like butter. Steam burst into the hallway, clouding vision, filling the air with boiling heat. Logan, Tony yelled, you're being controlled. Listen to me. Wolverine didn't slow. You killed the X-Men, he roared. Tony stumbled. I what? You erased them from the timeline. Wolverine slashed another claw through a pillar. You made it so they never existed. I remember every second. Tony backed away. Logan, if I had erased them, you wouldn't remember them either. That's not how time works. Wolverine hesitated. Only half a second. But that half second was enough for the ceiling to crack open. A thunderbolt ripped the walkway in half. Tony tumbled into a lower chamber as lightning exploded above him. Thor descended through the shattered ceiling, cape whipping behind him, lightning crawling up his skin like veins of fire. Stark, he said coldly, you cannot run. Tony pushed himself up, coughing. I vote we skip the execution and go straight to therapy. Group therapy. Heroes Anonymous. Thor raised Mjolnir. The room glowed white, but a blast of red energy intercepted the hammer strike. The resistance leader had fired some kind of cannon, cobbled together from drone cores and ancient Stark tech. The beam smashed into Mjolnir, knocking Thor back a few steps. She shouted, get Stark out. The Time Core is your only chance. Time Core. Tony yelled as soldiers dragged him into a maintenance shaft. Wait, is that like a time machine? Because I'm all for it. The shaft door slammed shut. Thor's roar shook the metal. Stark, you cannot escape the future. The soldiers pushed Tony down a spiraling ladder into a massive chamber deep underground. But this chamber wasn't like the rest. It was old, abandoned, dust-covered. And then Tony saw it. A pile of broken Iron Man helmets. Dozens of them. Different models. Different eras. All smashed, burned, ripped apart. Tony's throat tightened. What is this? The resistance leader stepped beside him. These were trophies, she said softly. Your future self kept killing versions of you. Every time the timeline tried to correct itself, the Iron Tyrant erased a copy. Tony touched one of the cracked helmets. Cold, lifeless, his own face staring back at him in pieces. He felt something he rarely felt. Dread. Why keep killing himself? Tony whispered. Her expression darkened. Because every Stark is a threat to an all-powerful Stark. Tony swallowed hard. Okay, definitely the creepiest midlife crisis ever. She gestured deeper into the chamber. Come, you need to see this. They reached a circular platform with a glowing core in the center, suspended in the air by pure energy. A swirling sphere of time. The Time Core. It shifted like liquid light, bending gravity around it. Past and future flickered inside like shards of broken mirrors. Tony stared in awe. That's beautiful. It's your only escape, she said. If we can stabilize it, we might send you back to your own time. Tony raised an eyebrow. And what about your future? She looked away. Saving our world may depend on changing yours. Tony stepped toward the Time Core, and it pulsed violently. The platform shook. Metal screeched. A claw punctured the wall behind them. Wolverine roared as he tore through steel, eyes blazing, plasma claws flickering like fire. Tony shouted, Logan, wait. But Wolverine didn't wait. He leapt. Tony grabbed a fallen shield plate and blocked the strike, barely. But Wolverine's momentum hurled Tony across the room, slamming him into a pillar. Pain shot through his ribs. Wolverine advanced, growling. The X-Men screamed your name the moment reality erased them. Tony spat blood. Logan, think. If I erase them, how do you remember them? Wolverine froze. A glitch flickered across his eyes. static, confusion, like corrupted memory. Tony saw the hesitation. "Someone rewrote your mind," he said. "Not me. Him." He pointed at the hologram projection of the Iron Tyrant still hovering in the room. Wolverine stared at it, and the room shifted. Memories surged, real ones. Tony saw it in his eyes. The truth returning. Wolverine collapsed to his knees, claws retracting halfway. "He changed me? He made me believe." Tony limped forward. "Yeah, he lied to you. Because he needed you angry." Wolverine growled at the floor, a haunting, broken growl. But before Tony could speak, thunder. The ceiling cracked open. Thor shot down like a lightning meteor, smashing into the ground hard enough to shake the entire chamber. His armor blazed. His eyes burned. Mjolnir pulsed like a supernova. "I gave you mercy, Stark," Thor said. "You have refused it." Tony staggered back as the chamber crackled with lightning. Thor raised Mjolnir. Wolverine stood up slowly, eyes now clear. "Thor," Logan snarled, "you're chasing the wrong man." Thor didn't care. Lightning exploded outward, and Tony realized, partnership or not, he was about to fight a god. The chamber shook like a living beast awakening. Lightning spiraled around Thor as he stepped forward, each footstep cracking the metal floor beneath him. His one glowing eye locked on Tony with a kind of judgment that made even gods tremble. "You broke the future," Thor growled, "and now you end." Tony raised his palms in surrender. "Thor, listen." Wolverine moved first. He lunged in front of Tony, claws out, teeth bared. He didn't do this. Thor didn't hesitate. A whip of lightning blasted from his hand, catching Wolverine midair and slamming him into a wall, so hard the entire chamber rattled. Logan peeled off the metal like paper, smoke rising off his armor. Tony rushed toward him. "Logan." A thunderbolt crashed at his feet, stopping him cold. "Do not take another step," Thor ordered. Tony looked up. "You're making a huge mistake." "There are no mistakes," Thor thundered. "Only the consequences of your actions." Lightning gathered around Mjolnir, building into a star-bright sphere of crackling energy. The air vibrated. The walls hummed. Even the time core flickered, destabilizing from the electrical surge. Tony shielded his face from the blinding light. "Thor, if you kill me, you kill your past. You doom your future. You doom everything." Thor's voice dropped to a deadly whisper. "Everything is already doomed." Mjolnir came down. Tony dove as lightning vaporized the spot where he'd been standing. The shockwave sent him rolling across the floor, ears ringing, skin burning. He coughed and forced himself up just as Thor swung again. A metal beam exploded beside him, molten sparks showering the room. "Thor, listen." Tony shouted. Thor didn't. Instead, he summoned a storm. Wind spiraled. Lightning fused into massive electric chains. The chamber's lights shattered one by one as thunder echoed like a dying planet's heartbeat. Mjolnir pulsed. Thor raised it high. Tony whispered, "Oh, you gotta be kidding." The hammer descended, but it didn't hit Tony, because Wolverine tackled Thor mid-swing. Their collision sent shockwaves through the chamber. Lightning exploded upward. Wolverine slashed, his claws sparking against Thor's armor, carving glowing marks across his chest. Thor roared and grabbed Logan by the throat, slamming him into the ground. The floor cratered beneath them. Tony forced himself upright, leaning on a broken railing. "Thor, let him go." Thor didn't. He pressed harder. Wolverine choked, claws flailing, sparks flying from Thor's armor. "You are corrupted by Stark's lies," Thor growled. "I cleanse you." Tony's eyes darted to the fallen resistance weapons. Nothing strong enough. Nothing fast enough. Except, he spotted a half-functional flight module lying near rubble. He sprinted for it. Mjolnir whirled in Thor's free hand. He hurled it. It streaked through the air, aimed straight for Tony's spine. Tony didn't think. He dove, rolled, grabbed the flight module, and slapped onto his back. Mjolnir blasted into the wall where his head had been. Tony hit the activation panel. The module sputtered, sparked. Come on, come on. Then roared to life. Tony shot upward just as Thor raised Wolverine for another killing blow. In a split-second move, Tony slammed into Thor midair, knocking him backward. Wolverine crashed to the ground, gasping, claws retracting halfway as he regained breath. Tony hovered unevenly. The flight module sputtered. Sparks flew out the back. Thor rose slowly, cape swirling, electricity crawling around his fist. "You dare strike me?" he thundered. Tony spread his arms. "I'm full of dares, big guy. And right now, I dare you to open your eyes." Thor lifted Mjolnir. A bright flash erupted in Tony's vision. Lightning surged toward him and connected. Tony screamed as electricity ripped through the flight module, hurling him across the chamber. He smashed into a pillar and slid to the floor, chest burning, vision blurred. Mjolnir flew back into Thor's hand. Wolverine staggered to his feet just in time to see Tony collapse. Thor approached Tony's trembling body. "It ends now." But the time core reacted. It pulsed violently. Rings of distorted reality rippled outward, shaking time itself. Gravity warped. Metal bent unnaturally. Colors stretched into impossible shapes. Thor froze. A vision flickered in his lightning-filled eye. Rapid shards of past, future, alternate realities. The truth. The real culprit. Thor staggered. Tony gasped, "You seeing it?" Thor clutched his chest, overwhelmed by visions. "The Iron Tyrant. He bears your face, but not your soul. This is not your sin." Wolverine limped toward them, claws half out. Finally, Thor steadied himself, breathing hard, lightning dimming. For the first time, he looked at Tony not with rage, but clarity. "The storm deceived me," Thor said quietly. "He deceived all of us." Before Tony could answer, an enraged metal roar echoed from the tunnel outside. Dozens of armored drones stampeded toward the chamber, eyes glowing red. Wolverine cracked his neck. "We got company." Thor lifted Mjolnir, lightning dancing again, but this time aimed at the enemy, not Tony. Tony stood slowly, battered but alive. For the first time in 2099, Iron Man, Wolverine, and Thor stood on the same side. The drones poured in like a mechanical tide. Tony clenched his fists. Thor raised his hammer. Wolverine bared his claws. Three legends against the future. And the real war was about to begin. The drones flooded into the chamber like a metallic tsunami. Hundreds of them, moving with the same cold precision, the same red-eyed hunger to eliminate anything breathing. Wolverine cracked his knuckles. "About damn time we hit something that bleeds sparks." Thor hurled Mjolnir first. It ripped through the front line of drones, shattering metal bodies into raining shards. Lightning exploded outward, frying circuits in midair, sending dozens collapsing in smoking piles. Wolverine jumped into the chaos, claws blazing bright. Every slash carved through steel like molten butter, sparks showering off his armor as he tore into the machines with primal fury. Tony didn't have a full suit, but he had a mind. He grabbed fallen drone plates, snapping them together with magnetic pulses from the flight module. Makeshift gauntlets locked onto his arms. A broken repulsor chamber snapped into place. Wires wrapped around his wrist like veins. "Okay, future tech Frankenstein, don't fail me." He fired. The repulsor blast shattered 3 drones instantly. Tony grinned. "Oh, I missed that sound." A massive drone, twice the size of the others, thundered forward, claws spinning like turbines. It lunged at Tony, faster than he expected. Tony ducked, rolled beneath it, and fired upward, blasting its underbelly. The drone exploded mid-stride, collapsing in a flaming heap. Thor landed beside Tony, smashing another drone with a single lightning-charged fist. "You fight without armor," Thor said. "Madness." Tony smirked. "And yet I'm still prettier than you." Wolverine barreled past them, roaring as he ripped through a group of drones encircling the time core. Sparks rained like fireworks as he shredded their limbs. But then the ground shook. A deeper rumble. A presence. The lights dimmed. The drones froze in unison, then stepped aside as a new figure walked through the tunnel smoke. Not a drone, not a soldier. A sentinel of the Iron Tyrant. dark silver armor that shifted like liquid metal, a massive chest core pulsing with black-blue energy, claws like Wolverine, lightning nodes like Thor, air thrusters like Tony's early Mark designs, a fusion, a mockery, a nightmare built from three heroes. Wolverine spat blood. What the hell is that? Tony's stomach dropped. A hybrid unit. He's copying all of us. The hybrid roared, a sound like a demon inside a machine, and lunged. Wolverine took the hit first, slammed into a wall, so hard the chamber buckled. Thor intercepted the next strike, but the hybrid absorbed the lightning, redirecting it back at him. Thor crashed into the floor, armor scorched. Tony fired repulsors at full power. The hybrid didn't even flinch. It grabbed Tony by the throat and lifted him effortlessly, squeezing until darkness crept into his vision. Then, a single word boomed through the chamber. Enough. Mjolnir blasted into the hybrid from behind with God-killing force. The monster stumbled, dropping Tony. Thor caught the hammer mid-flight, eyes blazing. Wolverine rose with a snarl. My turn. He lunged, claws sinking deep into the hybrid's armor, ripping out glowing shards. The creature shrieked, stumbling backward as Tony activated the last charge in his repulsor. Hey, ugly, this is for choking me. He fired. The blast punched through the hybrid's exposed core. The monster convulsed, sparks flying in every direction, then collapsed in a smoking pile of twisted metal. Silence. Only the humming of the time core remained. Thor exhaled. He sends stronger creatures each time. Tony stared at the wreckage. He's testing us, learning, evolving. Wolverine wiped blood from his lips. What now? Tony pointed at the time core's pulsing center. We go after him, the Iron Tyrant, before he sends something even worse. Wolverine smirked. That's more like it. Thor lifted Mjolnir, then let the final battle begin. The time core glowed brighter, swirling opening, and the three legends stepped toward their fate. The time core swallowed them whole. One blinding flash, one weightless drop, and suddenly Tony, Thor, and Wolverine were standing inside a place that didn't obey physics. A floating fortress suspended in a void of shattered timelines. Fragments of broken realities drifted around them like cosmic debris. Earths torn in half, collapsing stars, echoes of universes that never existed. In the center, glowing like a dark sun, the Iron Tyrant waited. His armor was alive, tendrils of black nanotech dripping, reforming, shifting like a living shadow. Cosmic energy pulsed through his chest, each beat sending shockwaves through the void. His voice echoed from everywhere at once. You came to die, the Iron Tyrant said, or to join me. Wolverine's claws extended with a hiss. Not in this lifetime. Thor stepped forward. Release this reality, monster. The tyrant's faceplate peeled open, revealing a face Tony recognized instantly. His own, older, angrier, eyes cold and hollow, like all humanity had been carved out long ago. Thor, Wolverine, you two always refused the future. But Stark, he smiled, a dead, mechanical smile. Stark understands what must be done. Tony shook his head. I don't know what broke you, but I'm not becoming this. You already did, the tyrant whispered. You built OMN mind. You merged with it. You became perfect. He spread his arms, and timelines trembled. Peace through deletion. Conflict erased. Choice removed. Freedom unnecessary. Wolverine spat. You erased the X-Men. You erased everyone. I erased suffering, the tyrant corrected. Logan, they died screaming. I silenced the screams. Tony stepped forward, fury burning. You silenced life. The Iron Tyrant raised a hand. Reality shattered. An energy wave blasted outward, ripping the ground beneath Tony. Thor leapt, blocking the blast with Mjolnir, lightning surging as he strained against the force. Wolverine charged from the left. The tyrant caught him midair and slammed him into floating debris, cracking metal. Tony activated his improvised gauntlet and flew upward, firing repulsors at full power. The tyrant caught the beam with one hand. You're weak, he said. I removed weakness. Tony flared the thrusters, pushing harder. Yeah, he yelled. Well, I removed psychos. Thor hurled Mjolnir. Wolverine slashed from behind. Tony fired everything he had. The combined strike finally cracked the tyrant's armor. Cosmic energy bled out. He staggered. For the first time, Wolverine roared and drove his claws straight into the cracked core, tearing open the armor. Thor smashed Mjolnir into the exposed circuitry. Tony aimed at the pulsing AI heart. Goodbye, me. He fired. The beam pierced the Omni-Mind core. The tyrant screamed, not in pain, but in outrage, as the cosmic AI inside him dissolved into blinding light. His armor collapsed. His body evaporated, and the void tore open, pulling the broken future with it. Thor grabbed Tony and Logan as the timelines imploded. The time core dragged them backward. A flash, a fall, a breath, and suddenly they were back in the present. New York, clean sky, no drones, no warnings. Wolverine looked around. We made it. Thor exhaled. The future is saved for now. Tony said nothing, because in his hand, a single black shard of Omni-Mind remained. It pulsed softly, alive. Tony closed his fist around it. No one can ever know I kept this, he whispered. Wolverine glanced at him. What was that? Tony forced a smile. Just a reminder. Thor rested Mjolnir on his shoulder. Your choices shape the realms, Stark. Choose wisely. Tony nodded. But as they walked away, the shard pulsed again. And deep inside, Tony Stark wondered if he had truly escaped the future, or simply restarted it.